This looks like Florida's Hurricane Katrina, and we're not overstating it. You're literally seeing the Gulf Coast come in. I mean, the coast has never been hit by a storm of this magnitude going back to 100 years. I mean, we're talking about the Gulf of Mexico, rather, coming in. The tropical storm warnings have been posted up through the Panhandle and into Georgia and South Carolina.
Yeah, when you look at what's going on in this situation, you see it playing out right now in Washington, D.C., funding going on for the entire country. But what's not included in that funding right now is disaster relief funding for this specific storm. That's something that's going to have to be addressed as we move forward in Washington, D.C., because as the Attorney General pointed out, major disaster across the state, spanning from one side of the state to the other, both flooding, both wind damage, the list goes on and how these places are going to be affected. And you look at this, may seem like a minor distinction to many, but this really matters in Washington, D.C. Currently, President Biden has only labeled this a disaster declaration for the state of Florida. He has not labeled it a major disaster declaration. And there's a difference in how the U.S. government and FEMA go out and respond to these kinds of disasters.
Congressman, what is the difference? Tell us the difference. What is the difference?
So the largest portion of that most people would recognize would be the funding streams that come in. If the president labels it a disaster instead of a major disaster, you're looking at a difference of 75% input from the federal government as opposed to 100% input from the federal government for that funding of recovery.